everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So, before we get started with today's build, I would like to say a massive thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know what Skillshare is, well, let me introduce you to them, because they are an online learning community with over thousands of classes for curious and creative people. On Skillshare, you can explore your creativity, discover new skills, or maybe improve on skills that you already have. They offer classes in, for example, video editing, so multiple different Adobe programs actually, such as Photoshop, but also Premiere Pro. They also offer classes in interior design, productivity, creative writing, how to make a career out of your creativity, and many, many more. One that I myself have found super helpful, as you can tell because I am a plant mom right here, is Plants at Home, Uplift Your Spirit and Your Space by Christopher Griffin, also known as Plant Queen. I am telling you guys, if you are a plant mom or a plant lover, or you're just considering getting into plants, you need to watch his class. It is so good. He's so passionate about his plants, like, I'm amazed. So I highly recommend his class. It's so joyful. I don't know how to put it into words, but highly recommend. Skillshare is made for learning, so there are no ads to interrupt you while you're taking a class. And they continuously launch new premium classes, so there's always something new to learn and explore. And they've been so generous to give the first 1,000 people who use my link at the top of the description box 1 month of free trial to Skillshare Premium, so you can go explore your creativity. So thank you again to Skillshare so much for sponsoring today's video, but most importantly, thank you guys for hanging out with me today by clicking on this video as well. I hope you will enjoy what we're building today. So let's get started. So today we are building a house, a smaller house. It's on a 30 by 20 in Henford-on-Bagley. Yes, I went back, I built another cottage. I feel like I still have a couple of cottage builds in me to do, so I went back. I'm sorry. Anyway, or not sorry actually, because I like this build. I like how it turned out and I had a lot of fun building it. But it's for two grandparents that are raising their grandkids, so they have room for a teen and also a kid. No toddlers. I feel like that would be a little bit mean to the grandparents, because you do have to put in a certain amount of work and effort into having toddlers in the household, and grandparents are older. Like, poor the grandparents, you know? So no toddlers, or no tiny humans, as I like to call them. But there is a teen and also a kid, so it's for a total of either 3 to 4 Sims, depending on how many adults you want living in this house. And of course, you could also just have a set of adults raising their kids here. It's completely up to you. It's just when I was decorating it, I had grandparents in mind, basically, but style is not, like, a certain style is not just for grandparents. It can still be for adults as well. Do you get what I mean? So it's for whoever. You could use the house for whoever you want. I just had grandparents in mind when I decorated it. So yeah, I hope you guys will like this house. I played around with terrain tools a little bit, simply because I wanted to see if I could lead like a little, not a hill, but like a, I don't know what you would call that, up to the side entrance, which by the way goes to the kitchen. So there's no mudroom. I know that's not very hygienic, but there's also like what's it called? Outdoors trash cans are literally, outdoors bins, whatever, are literally right outside the door. So in that way, it does make sense. I just did not add a mudroom, I know. Luckily, we don't really have mud in The Sims as far as I remember. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't actually have an effect on the Sims when they walk into the house. Like, if you have seasons and it rains, it doesn't actually have an effect like that. So unless there's just like puddles of water everywhere. If you guys know, let me know, because I'm curious. I'm not going to change my builds for it because that would be pointless, but if you know, let me know, because I'm kind of curious. Also, the floor plan in this house was a bit difficult to do. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was too boxy for anything to just come naturally. The only thing that I could naturally cut off into one room was the little box by the left, like on the left side of the house, the one that I turned into the kitchen. That was easy. The rest was just, here's a square, do with it what you want. And the upstairs was so small that, like, you'll see that once we get to the floor planning process, but the upstairs was so small that I was having issues figuring out where to place the staircase as well, because I wanted to make sure that there could be a double room in one of the bedrooms. It was a whole puzzle. I feel like I figured it out, but the floor plan is definitely, it's not one of my best ones, But I've explained this in the past. When you're doing very boxy houses, it gets kind of difficult to do floor plans sometimes, because when you don't have boxy houses like this, so I say boxy like it's just one square, there's no shape to the house other than the square. When you do houses that are not like this, you kind of have a natural flow. Like if you follow the lines of the house, you can kind of make a floor plan from that, but you don't have that when you're doing boxy houses. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but I feel like I figured it out. Like I said, it works. It's just not my best work. I'm blaming it on the fact that it's a boxy house, even though I've been doing so many boxy houses lately because I've been doing so many cottages. But still, I'm gonna blame it on that. Also, if this video is up a little bit late, I actually wanted to do the voiceover yesterday, but I ended up recording my what I've read in July video and then ended up actually editing the whole thing. So I did not stop until it was like 1:45, so past midnight. I have this rule that I need to take time off after midnight so I sleep better. I broke that rule yesterday, but I would say 1:30, 1:45 is also fine. It's not the end of the world. So I started reading my book after that, did not do the voiceover, didn't do it until today. I had to watch the handball finale, the Olympics handball, men's handball. Yeah, that happened. We didn't win, but it's completely okay. Congratulations to France though. But if you want to watch that book overview, it's up on my other channel right now, which is linked to in the description box, by the way. So I read a lot of good books last month, and I just felt like sitting down and ranting a little bit about them. And I know that there's a lot of you guys that are bookworms as well, so maybe you'll like that. I don't really know, but maybe you'll like listening to me talk about books. Actually, I also want to know what you guys think about the books as well, because I don't really have like in person like a lot of friends that read the same books as me, so because I'm into fantasy and they're not necessarily like, my sister is all about classics, or what else does she read? A lot of contemporary, maybe historical fiction, or just more classic fiction. So for example, she reads the Iliad, I don't know how to pronounce that, and the Odyssey, for example. So we just have different tastes in books, and that's okay. But that means I don't have anyone to talk to about these books and nerd out about these books. So if you read books, come nerd out with me. Yes, please, thank you. But that's over on my other channel. So for the interior of this house, I really wanted it to be very grandma. Like, I'm sorry, grandpa, you know, you're there, that's fine. But I love grandma vibes for my builds. Not in real life, not for me personally, but for my builds, I love grandma vibes, so I wanted it to be cute, I wanted it to be softer, I wanted it to be cozy, and I brought in a lot of more rosy tones, I would say, like the cabinet that you saw, the cupboard, whatever it's called, in the dining room. I also used some more rosy colored couches, and I think that one's actually from Cats and Dogs, but in the living room as well. I was trying here in the kitchen too, but the kitchen counter swatches weren't really working with me, so I ended up going for this brown one, but then introduced some pink through the wallpaper, and I know that I overuse this wallpaper like crazy, but it's amazing. I love it. It's perfect. So I went with it anyway. They also have this is actually a common thing as far as I know. Where I lived in Scotland, we only had a washer, what's it called? A laundry machine in the kitchen. No tumble dryer, drying machine, whatever you want to call that thing. That machine, yeah, the one that dries clothes, that one. We didn't have that, which, by the way, for Scotland, I would say stupid, because it rains all the time. Like, where are you supposed to dry your clothes? Like, come on. Come on, you know? It doesn't make any sense. So, because you can't put them outside, then that means you have to put them inside, and that's just it gets all blah. So I would highly recommend getting one of those. Like, if you only have room for one machine, get one of those that can do both, all right? But unfortunately, we only had the washer, so that's just, that was that. I had to deal with that for a while, whatever. But they had that in the kitchen, so I felt like, I've also heard from other people, because I ask about this actually quite often. It's one of those questions, like, where do you keep your laundry machines? You know, super interesting question. But honestly, for building, I find it quite useful to know. And I've seen a lot of British people saying that they have them in the kitchen. So I place them in the kitchen because I know that I've been not forgetting to include laundry machines in my cottages. I've just not found room for them because a lot of the builds have been on the smaller side, and unless there was a mudroom, I felt like it didn't fit into the kitchen and so on and so on. So for this house, I decided to place them in the kitchen so they have laundry machines. And I also put the hamper as, like, after you told me, you told me that you felt like it was the best to put the hamper, did I just say pamper? To put the hamper next to the laundry machines. I did that in this build. So hopefully that's good for you guys who play the game. Hopefully, I don't really know, but hopefully it is. See, I take notes. I try to improve and make it easier for you guys to play in my houses. So also, by the way, if you do and you ever want to show me your household, or I don't know, just if you've redecorated one of my houses, you can always tag me on either Twitter or Instagram. And I love seeing people use my builds. So I am always open to seeing more people use my builds. I'm always happy when I always get happy when I see pictures of people having their households living in my houses and stuff. It gives me warm, fuzzy feelings, so I appreciate it a lot, and I would love to see it if you guys do actually use my houses. I almost said that in singular, house, if you guys actually use my house, but I meant houses because I've built a lot of houses. Sometimes I sit down and I think, how many hours have I stopped checking Origin, by the way, to see how many hours I've spent in The Sims, because at this point, I'm embarrassed for myself, so, because that's a lot. There are certain things that you shouldn't think about. That one is one of them for me. Just don't think about how many hours you've spent in The Sims. Just don't. So anyway, we are working on the living room. I also later on, just as a little side note, I placed down the crochet thingy on, or what's it called? Not crochet, because that came with Nifty Knitting, right? Is it cross stitching that came with this one? Honestly, it's one of those things I'm not really super familiar with in real life, and also they're just terms that I'm not used to using in English either. So one of the two, I placed down the little box including those materials, so I felt like it was cute for the grandma, I don't know. And then there's also over there, it's right there. And then there's also a grandfather clock as well, obviously, because this is a grandparent's house, so I needed a grandfather clock. I also imagined them to have this older, very grumpy, slightly thicker cat as well, so I forgot to place down a food bowl in the video, but it is in the uploaded version, so don't worry about that. If you thought about, hey, where's the food bowl? It's there, don't worry. I just forgot to place it down while I was recording, but it's there. So I felt like they had a little bit of a grumpier kind of cat. I don't know what kind of breed, but I'm also not good with cat breeds. I don't know how to keep track of them, sorry. But I just felt like it was fitting for them. So it's one of those cats that just hate everyone except from the grandparents and then also the kids. And I feel like maybe at the start when the kids first got to this house, they were not getting along with the cat either. I know this is a whole backstory just for the cat. It's a thing, it's fine. And then slowly they kind of became better friends, and now I definitely feel like the cat would prefer the kid over the teen, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you had thoughts about this as well? Is it just me? I don't know. Sometimes it's just funny, like these small things you think about when you're building the houses. So, but I definitely needed them to have like a grumpy, kind of unfriendly cat that just loves this little family living in the house. So I don't know why the grandparents are raising the grandkids, by the way. I have no backstory for that, but if you do, if you have any ideas, if you're inspired for a little story, let me know. Do a story time in the comments. I always read them. I always think they're so funny. I've done a lot of household-based builds, and the amounts of stories I've read, it makes me happy, so if you have any ideas, let me know. Also, this is the room for the teen. They have their room on the ground floor. I feel like they're the kind of teen that might be sneaking outside a couple of times a week, even maybe. I don't really know, but I did place their bedroom next to one of the outer doors. There's actually 3, so if there's ever a fire happening in this house, which It's one of my builds. Wouldn't surprise me if that happened. But anyway, there's lots of fire escapes, was my point. So I do imagine this teen to kind of sneak off. I don't know where to, because Henford-on-Bagley is a very small knitted community, and like, where would they go? They can't take off to San Myshuno, where there's the karaoke bars and stuff. Like, what would they do? Where would they go? But I feel like maybe they have like a secret partner or something they sneak off with now and then. Maybe they hang out in the forest and just chill or whatever. I don't really know. Maybe they go visit the chicken in the backyard in the middle of the night. That would be cool too, I suppose. Or grow magical plants in the plant plots. I don't know if you can do that, but that would be cute. Or maybe, what if the teen was actually a witch and they met up with their coven in the middle of the night in the forest? Yeah, there's a backstory. I feel like that would be perfect. It's not as romantic as sneaking off with your partner in the middle of the night, but I feel like that would be a cool backstory. What do you guys think? I don't know. There's no indicator in their bedroom that they are a witch whatsoever, but I feel like it would be kind of cool, right? Can you guys tell I've been reading a lot of books with magic in them lately? It's getting to my head. Anyway, we're working on the second floor now. So this right here is for the kid. I actually at first placed down a toddler bed. That was by mistake. I don't know why I did that, but it was definitely a mistake. I don't know if I was actually thinking, but anyway, it was supposed to be for a kid, so I swapped out the bed. We're all good, but they have this very narrow room up here. Like I said earlier in the video, I was having a few issues with the floor plan. This is what I came up with, but it's definitely on the more narrow side. So sorry, kid. This is the space you got. Sorry. It's bigger than Harry Potter's bedroom, so I suppose you got that going for you. Maybe you shouldn't be complaining about having a small bedroom. I mean, Harry Potter had it worse. So the grandparents' bedroom is also on the second floor. It's in a 4x4 room, but it should be fully functional. I play tested it. The dresser is not in the way. However, if it doesn't fully work for you, because I know that it kind of it changes a little bit from build or from computer to computer, to be honest. I don't know why, but a lot of the builds that I've been, or not a lot of them, but a few times when I've play tested something, I've gotten a comment saying, this doesn't work, why doesn't it work? And I'm like, it did in my game, so I can't really tell you, I don't know why. But just make sure that you activate move objects on before you place down any of my builds, because I always build with that cheat activated. So I think you also get a warning, or I know that you also get a warning now from the game whenever you place down a build that was built with move objects on activated. You get a warning, but just make sure that you activate it before you place down any of my builds whatsoever. I don't like building without the cheat. I know that I've gotten English is going really well today. Anyway, I know that I've gotten a few comments saying like, why would you do that? That's cheating, blah blah blah. It doesn't really, I love that cheat, so I'm going to continue to use it. It's a cheat, yes, but it doesn't make sense for me to build without that cheat activated. It just doesn't make sense. It's a good cheat. If you are a builder, you know what I'm talking about. Like, how can you build a house without move objects on? That sounds painful, so I'd rather not. For the backyard, they have, I actually like how this backyard turned out. They have the plant plots that I also placed down, what's his name? Oh my gosh, what is the scarecrow's name? I completely forgot it, and I know that as soon as I'm done with this voice, when I start rendering the video, I'm gonna remember it, and it's just gonna be so annoying. Anyway, but he's over in the corner of the little farm area, and then farm area, plant area, or whatever you want to call that area. And then there's also the chicken coop, because I felt like they just needed some farm animals in their side yard, backyard situation, and there wasn't enough room for the cow shed, so a chicken coop would have to do. But I feel like maybe that's also okay for them, because I'm pretty sure the grandparents would be taking care of the animals anyway, and maybe a cow is a little bit much work. I don't know. 5 chickens though sounds like a lot of work too, not gonna lie, but hopefully none of them are evil. That would suck. I don't really know. I actually saw a picture on Twitter the other day. Someone posted, this was so funny, someone posted a little, actually it was a video. They posted a video of the Grim Reaper fighting an evil chicken, and the evil chicken won. It was so funny. So I haven't seen one of the evil chickens in the game yet. I feel like I got an explanation for how they work and how you get one, but I don't remember it anymore. it's one of those things, like, I know that I'm never gonna have an evil chicken, so I don't really need to know about them, so my brain just kind of filtered it out. But does that make sense? Like, useless information for me, but they're funny, and also they can hurt your Sims, so be careful. But it was funny that it was fighting the Grim Reaper and then won. But aside from those areas, they also have the little flower arrangement station and a couple of beekeeping houses as well, because you gotta protect the bees, and I felt like it was cute for them. I could imagine maybe the grandma teaching the kid or something to take care of the bees. I feel like that would be super cute. So they have a little corner over there, but other than that, it's mainly just landscaping. And I decided to, for this house, because the house itself is quite gray, I decided to, also to match the second roof texture that I went with. Also, don't worry, we are placing roof details on top of the house at the end of the video. I just forgot to do it during building, to be honest. I don't know, I just completely forgot, but there were supposed to be details, so don't worry about it, we're placing them down. But because of the second roof texture, the one that I placed on the little square, the little box on the left side of the house, because that is more on the red side, I wanted to match the landscaping with that, so it didn't look like it stood out too much, like it still matched something in the landscaping. So I placed down all this ivy as well, which is green and red. It goes well with the roof texture. It kind of binds the landscaping together with the roof texture as well, because, you know, red and green and all that stuff. So I was just going for a lot of little red touches throughout the landscaping, and I like it. It's been a while since I've used red. I feel like red is a very overpowering color and kind of scares me sometimes. I never use it for interiors because it's simply overpowering. I also have a mom who's obsessed with red, so I think maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't really know, but it's too much for me. So, and when I say obsessed with red, I mean all her kitchen appliances are red. She has a red dresser in her hallway as well. She has had, I don't remember if she has it anymore, but she used to have at least some red walls in her living room as well. Like, she just loves the color red. And I think because of that, like, it's just a little too much for me. It's a little too much for me. I feel like her loving red is kind of one of the reasons why no, it's too much for me. So, also when I was a teen, I had a red coat, and I did not know how to pull off that red coat. I just did not. So whenever I see a red piece of clothing, I think back to that coat and how awfully I did not manage to pull it off. So that's another reason. I just stay away from red. It's fine. But anyway, we are at the end of the video, so I'm going to be wrapping up this voiceover now. If you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, the tray files can be found on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box down below. If you like Roblox videos, check out my Roblox channel, and if you like lifestyle videos or videos where I rant about books, check out my lifestyle channel. Both of those will also be linked to in the description box down below. And thank you again so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Definitely go check them out by clicking on the link either in the description or the one in the pinned comment. And that is all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!
Friends will come, friends will go. They all seem to change while I'm still the same. 'Cause I just can't let go, and there's no one to blame. It's just the way it is. Like stone, emotionless in this world of stories. Oh, like stone, I'll be here forever, waiting for your call. Lovers come, lovers go, and their hearts seem to change, but mine's still the same, 'cause I still love them all.